Do you just kind of awkwardly? There you go. Okay.
Oh, we're ready?
So, we are ready. We are ready. So what you guys into music? Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, well, basically, got me into music when I was younger. I would say probably 2000s, 2001, 2 maybe. To be honest, just hanging around the wrong people, making the wrong decisions, and just I started finding an outlet for it, like ways to get away from that, just because I felt like I was starting to go down a path that wasn't necessarily the best for me, and music became my outlet. It helped me escape from that, helped me get away from that, and I noticed that the more committed I got to it, the more time I put into it, it just started getting me away from it, and it really helped me that channel that way, and it got to the point where eventually, like, I just wanted to be making music. I didn't want to hang out with the same people I was hanging out with. It was, I mean, part of it, it was kind of an excuse to get away from it, but at the same time, if it's something I love, it's something that's actually being productive, you know, it really was helping me, and then from there, it just evolved, you know, and more passion, more commitment to it, and just got bigger and bigger. What about yourself?
For me, it was a little bit different. It was funny, I never forget, my cousin actually showed me a video. My cousin was a huge Bone Thugs fan, huge Busy Bone fan. He even had, like, the Busy Bone, like braids and shit. And he had showed me this video of, like, Busy Bone, like, with his boys and shit, like, rapping, like, freestyling or whatever. And I was like, I want to fucking do that. I want to be able to do that. And then that's literally how, like, my whole, like, music thing started kicking off. And I mean, obviously, like, I used to listen to, like, you know, the Jay-Z's and all that shit when I was younger, but I never really had, like, oh, I want to do this, you know what I mean? It was just kind of something like that. And then I saw that video, I was like, oh shit, that's dope. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to do that. And, like, literally, like, I didn't start writing music. Like, I started, like, freestyling with my buddies and, like, just, like, fucking around, you know what I mean? Like, at parties or whatever, just literally freestyling. And I was decent at it, so it was like, all right, cool, let me see what I can do, like, on pen and paper and see, like, if I can make it that much better. Because then, like I said, I got, you know, obviously when you're a kid, you get introduced to certain type of music, you hear the radio, and you're like, all right, cool. But then you start getting into more intricate types of music, and you're like, all right, well, let me see if I can kind of emulate what Jay-Z does, and then throw a little bit of this and flavor into it, you know what I mean? So then you start crafting how you want to, you know, write or whatever, and that's, just listening to different types of music and different types of hip-hop. As I got older, it was like, all right, well, now let's take this whole little freestyle game and see if we can put it on paper and make it that much better. So for me, that's kind of what started it for me, was actually seeing, like, people freestyle and just able to come up with that, like, real quick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, like you mentioned, a lot of it's just being inspired by what you listen to, what's around you, and like, I grew up, being from California, I just grew up around gangster rap. I listened to Eazy, NWA, Ice Cube, like, that's what I grew up on, and to me, that was hip-hop, that's what was out, because that's what was around me, and yeah, I mean, even when I started, like, especially just being involved with the wrong people, being in that lifestyle, like, I love that shit, like, I glorified that shit to an extent.
And that's what a lot of rappers, like, and that's why for me it was kind of opposite. Like, for me, I didn't really listen to the whole West Coast stuff. I listened to people, I mean, obviously, you know, I know you do too, but when I was younger, I listened to a lot of the Jay-Z's and, like, Biggies because of that reason, because I saw that, you know, they were these dudes that were nothing, scumbags, scum of the earth, and they were rapping about, like, their journey on how they became that, like, person, you know what I mean? And how they became, you know, this like, you know, multi-millionaire, you know, whatever business. And for me, that's what it was. Like, you see, you know, drug dealers that were scumbags of the earth, but driving, like, black Acuras and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and that was the fucking car back then in New York. So for me, I was more East Coast influence for all of my rap, even just being from the West Coast. You know what I mean? Just and like you said, just different styles, different.
Yeah, and it's discovering that side of it, because to me, like I said, I grew up with gangster rap. That's pretty much musically that's what raised me. And then, like, I liked hip hop. I was passionate about it, and I liked the rap side of it. And honestly, to me, it was late where, like, I truly, like, fell in love with hip hop. And that was when whenever I think, like, 02 or something, or 03, when the Black Star album came out, with Steph and Kweli. I went to Kmart with my mom, and, like, sorry mom, I fucking stole the album. And I listened to that album, and it was the first time, like, time I ever heard.
It's on camera now, dude.
It was the first time I ever heard that type of hip hop. Now it's not like, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna fucking,
of course,
you know, rob you at gunpoint. It was like, no, let's better the community. community. Let's talk about the people.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the things that are relative to
Let's-
us.
yeah.
Let's progress.
Let's progress
as a people.
this society. Yeah.
And that's when I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
this is hip hop.
Of
And
course.
that's when it just totally
Yeah.
like 180 for me,
Yeah.
and just I started pretty much going on the route that I am
Yeah.
now, which is making more music with the message, music
Of
with
course.
something a little
And
more
that's
positive.
why for me, like in my opinion, the youth will always be like fucking stained.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because they hear this shit and they don't want to realize that. They don't want to realize that, oh, let's progress as human beings, let's progress as people. So, I mean, you got people that are out now. I'm not gonna mention names, but you know that people like, and I mean, we've had this conversation before, where it's literally just shit wrapped in gold. Like people putting out music and they force feed it down, you know, radio stations and all this stuff, and kids listen to it. They don't have that like fucking like passion.
Yeah.
And really, no one has that passion.
Yeah, and then it goes from there. It pretty much goes from your influences and what makes you start making
Yeah.
music to saying like, okay, well now I'm making music. Like, what am I gonna do with it?
How do
Like,
I
how
wanna
am I
go
gonna
about it? Yeah.
take this to the next level?
And I'm
Or
still
do
trying
I
to find
wanna-
that. I still don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I've told you before too. I still don't know. I've been rapping for years, dude, and I
Yeah.
still don't know
Yeah.
like what I want to actually physically say as like an artist. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I said, I've always just made music like, and I've said it in multiple songs that I can just listen to with my boys.
Yeah.
And if no one else in the world likes it, like I'm cool with that. As long as like, you know what I mean, me and my boys, like, you know, my mama can sit there and be like, oh my God, he did this, you know what I mean? Like, and if it doesn't fucking sell, like I'm still cool with that. As long as like, you know, I like it, my
Yeah.
boys like it. But even like I said, as an artist, I still don't know where I want to go, like just as far as like what I want to say and shit. So,
Yeah.
you know, and some people don't find that until later on.
Yeah, and I think in point, I mean, that's what really inspired me to really like put the pieces together and say, okay, well let's make something. Let's almost like give this a name, give this an idea, like a brand. So it's just not us rapping and putting
Yeah.
music out.
Of course.
That's when the idea came to me for Ilosophy, you know, a few years back, where I just figured like let's get some creative talent together. Some people that are on the same page as me as
Yeah.
far as like their passion for it, even
Mhm.
if they're not talking about the same things as I
Yeah,
am,
of course.
even if they're not on the same exact topics I'm at,
Yeah.
but as long as they have the passion for it, the level of musicianship and the dedication to
And
it,
it's
like,
there,
that's
yeah.
what I was all
And
about.
that's, yeah.
And that's why, I mean, it's been a slow process. It started
Yeah.
really back in the day, just me and Sal, just
Yeah.
putting stuff out. And even though there was a lot of people we were working with, a lot of
Mhm.
people that I'm sure wanted to be involved in the process, I felt like I really just wanted to handpick whoever was going to
Was
be,
in there.
whoever I was going to make music
Of course.
with, you know? And that's why, you know, more recently when the opportunity came, when I started, you know, hearing Tommy's stuff and what he can do and all that kind of stuff, it was one of the few times really in this whole process of Ilosophy that I really figured like this is the type of person I want
Yeah.
involved in the project. And I just feel like overall, like I talked to you, make sure
Yeah.
you felt it was a good fit for you.
Yeah.
And
I
once
remember
you're
us
with
having
it,
that conversation.
then,
That's funny.
yeah.
I remember, I had you were in MI and Terrell had actually hit me up and he was like, "Hey, like Efrain like raps," and I knew you did because like I said, I mean you've lived, you know, you've been around this city for years and I've known that you rap, but like, he was like, "Oh, he's still doing it." I didn't know you were still doing it. He was like, "Yeah, he's still doing it. Like you should get with him." I'm like, "Dude, I don't rap. Like I don't do that anymore. Like I rap, but I rap for fun. I rap just to fuck around like with my buddies. Like I don't fucking, you know, want to record shit, you know." And then yeah, he kind of actually talked me into it, and like I said, just hearing you and Sal's shit and just like where you guys are going, I was like, all right. Even though the styles are all different, like fuck, we can make that shit work. And I mean, so far we have. You know, I mean, we've made it, you know, work fairly well. So, yeah, getting back into it was crazy. It was just.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it, and I say this humbly, like that's what makes Ilosophy something special. The fact that
I agree.
we're not all the same. You know, we're not three dudes that are just the same style, same concepts, same flow.
Of course.
Like we all bring something different to the table.
Yeah.
We all bring our own perspectives to the table, our own stories, our own experiences, our own influences. Like you said, like I grew up on a blend of like gangster rap and conscious rap. You grew up off, you know, Jay-Z, Biggie, East Coast rap type style.
Yeah,
you know, Sal's into that just real dark, raw type stuff.
Yeah.
And we just all put that together and
It
it
works.
just creates,
It
it
works.
just gives us our sound.
I like
you
it.
know?
Yeah, and and like I said, it's one of those things where I've never, like I've had the opportunity and people tell me like, hey, you know, rap, let's do this, let's do a song. It's like, you know, I don't do it for that. I just do it for fun. But then yeah, when you guys came out to me, I was like, you know what, this could go somewhere, dude. You guys got a good plan. We had a good plan, you know, set, and you know, we just gotta continue following.
Yeah, most definitely.
From this room, I would have to say, and having seen you guys now finally play at least once, it's really eclectic. Like and not to mention, of course, obviously the Dead Kennedy shirt that's on. But I mean, for the sake of music, you definitely are able to bring in a little bit of anybody. Anybody would have a fun time at the show. I mean, because you guys really put not only just rap out there, but enough stage presence like rock would, right?
And that's my thing. Like I think I've told this before. Like stage presence, in my opinion, is fucking everything. You can literally make, to an extent, a horrible fucking song, but if you have stage presence and you're up there ranting, raving, jumping around, fucking making weird faces. Kicking shit and whatever, people are gonna be like, oh fuck, that's fucking awesome.
Or on the other side of it, you could have an amazing fucking song, brilliant material, but if you're on stage in one spot just rapping into the mic,
it's
you're
horrible.
Gonna feel it,
right?
Yeah.
So for me, that's like I think that I think that's what sets us apart from like at least a lot of like up and coming groups that are trying to do that is they it's just you gotta have that stage presence. I think that's what I think separates us from a lot of other like local groups trying to make it big. I mean, I love it. I love that shit. I feed off of that shit.
And I'm sure we're all influenced. Like as far as if on the music side of things, on creating, we're influenced by a certain type of music, and on the stage and performing type of stuff we are too.
Yeah.
Like same thing. Like you mentioned, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, stuff like that.
For sure.
Just seeing them just thrashing, fucking screaming on stage. Like when I perform, like I don't think. Oh, I'm doing the hip hop. I'm like, no, it's a fucking rock performance. Exactly. Like thrash.
I'll be completely honest with you, and I've mentioned this to you before. Like even someone as new as like Tyler the Creator, Odd Future, like those kind of groups that are so new, but their fucking stage presence is phenomenal. Yeah. Like, and that's what people pay to see. You know what I mean? People pay to see you not only rap but put on a show. They see shows, they want to see that. So for me, it was always that point where it was like seeing that young group, these young artists do that. And then just like getting a crowd of like even like older people just wilding out, and it was like I see that I'm like that's what we need to do. We need to do like I said, but we need to put our own twist on it. And like I said, we have, and I like that, And like I said, the influence for me was like that group, seeing them perform like in videos and stuff like that. Just as rappers doing that like punk rock stuff is like fuck, that's amazing. That's that's incredible because that's the kind of stage presence that a lot of the old style hip hop used to have.
Just getting the crowd involved,
exactly.
Trying to make sure everybody's into it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that helps because at the end of the day, that's how you gain new fans when you perform.
Yep.
And that's how you just get your message out there. Because if you just keep it within your close circle, your people, like, which we appreciate a million times, that hold us down from day one and support us, But at the same time, it's all about growing.
Yeah.
And it's not growing just to get attention. It's not growing just to like, let's try to get signed kind of stuff. It's growing to like, so our message reaches broader spectrum.
Yeah, of course, and that's like, that's a good point. Edit that out.
That's fine. No.
I was gonna go somewhere with it.
Like, yeah. And to add to that point,
I was trying to look intelligent, twisting my beard.
Don't worry, I'll probably stop at a point, maybe switch angles just to see if we can get a little spice to it. But yeah, this is already a ton of time. Let me see if this will be done saving.